That's domestic as
What is up, YouTube? Today we are at the track. Finally got some good weather. Finally got tracks opening or states opening because of the COVID-19 stuff. We are ready to strap in and go out. This morning we got here and I went to put new pads and rotors on to bed them in. Got the wrong rotors. I don't know if I ordered them wrong or they shipped them wrong. That was unfortunate. So I pad slapped Carbotex, which are nice brakes, onto old rotors. So let's pray. I'm going to try to be light on the brakes. Let's pray that the rotors hold together. But we're going to test out this 3-valve. I've already done one session because I didn't want to see you guys. I didn't want to have any misery, any issues or anything. So recording the second session here. But let's get out there. Let's get to the live action. Let's run some laps down here at Talladega Gran Prix. Alright guys, so we are back home. Great day at Talladega Gran Prix yesterday, but the whole goal of the day was test and tune. It was to take the car with the new motor and see how it did, which I did beat my best time at that track by about 1.5 seconds. Probably has something to do with the brakes and the tires that are on the car, but these tires are pretty spent. So today I wanted to sit down and give you guys some content on what's going to be happening between now and our back-to-back weekend at Road Atlanta coming up here in June. So we want to go to Road Atlanta, we want to be fast, we want to be competitive, we want to be consistent, and that's kind of one of the things we found out at Talladega Grand Prix is the car is now finally consistent. There's no heat soak. This old motor with the supercharger on it was great, made a lot of power, but about 3 laps in it would heat soak. So now we can go ahead and do some consistent lap times. So a test and tune day, the goal was to really make a list of things to do between now and the next event. So let's get that list started. And so number 1, as I just said, these tires are shot. You saw in previous video that got new wheels. So I'm gonna put tires down even though they're already ordered. All we gotta do is bolt these new wheels on. So number 2, probably the most frustrating part was the drive to the track and the drive back, which is a 2-hour drive from where I'm at, and the car wanted to rattle my teeth out. I think we got some bad U-joints over, I think this drive shaft's been in there 3 or 4 years now. Some hard launches, some playing around. The U-joints just go out, so I think we're gonna do some U-joints on the car. Next up, as you heard at the intro of this video, we had a issue where I may have ordered the wrong rotor or they sent the wrong one. So very unfortunate there on the brake rotors. Didn't get to bed these brakes in how I wanted to. I pad slapped the Carbotex. They still did great, but these rotors are very cracked. There was a lot of speed wobble on heavy braking. So next up would be rotors. So another item on the list, which I think was a product of Run the Car Pretty Hard, is we had either it's coming from the head bolt or it's coming from the collector bolt, an exhaust leak. Should be an easy fix, either a gasket or just rebolt whatever loosened up. But next is exhaust leak. Another item I want to do, which is just for peace of mind, it's just an alignment check. I might have to add a little more angle, but essentially I think the geometry is still right. The car turned in really good, but I pulled 200 plus pounds off the nose with going from an iron block to an aluminum block, as well as taking the blower and the intercooler and everything off the front. So I want to make sure that geometry is still the same, or close to where I was running, around 2.25 degrees of camber up front. So I want to make sure, so alignment check or realignment. So I didn't touch on this at the beginning of the video, but I did have one of the hood vents almost fly off when I was going down one of the major highways here, 285 in Atlanta. So I think I'm going to sheet metal screw this into the hood. So I'm gonna drill pilot holes in this and get it in there nice and tight. That way I don't just have a big hole in my hood, which is how I ran all weekend. That wouldn't really work in the rain. So that is next on the list, is the hood louvers. So another item I want to put on the list, which is kind of going backwards, I'm just reading these from my head. Next to the rotors, when I pulled the old rotors off, or the old pads off, I did note that there was a lot of caliper damage on the piston of the caliper. It had actually heat cycled so many times that it was white in color, which means too hot. And some of the piston on the caliper actually crumbled. So it's supposed to be a nice clean circle, presses on the pad. Well, it's not a nice clean circle anymore. So I'm either looking at doing the upgrade that I need to run in the NASA class I'm going to race in, which is a GT500 brake or similar type Brembo brake package for the front, or just doing another stock piston. To me, it's slightly unsafe to be running how I am. I did run all weekend and drive home like that, but I think a back-to-back weekend race week, that's probably just not going to hold. So the caliper is a big deal. Next to the caliper, and being consistent with brakes in general, getting the brakes working, that's going to be actually getting some brake ducts in, so something like that doesn't happen. So essentially the piping and the brake ducting that's required to cool the brakes while you're driving eliminates brake fade, which I don't have a lot of, amazingly, with how hot it seems everything is getting. But I think that heat is causing problems, so I want to get in some brake ducting. So that is going to do it for the list. Obviously, we got a lot to do in the next 2 to 3 weeks before we go over to Road Atlanta and run a back-to-back Saturday-Sunday event, and then the following week run a Saturday event. So this stuff's not free, it's not cheap, it's not fun necessarily, although I enjoy a lot of it. But it is what it takes if you're going to work on your own car and do track days. There's not any car, I would say, even if you pull a car off the showroom, that you're going to be able to take out to the track, beat the snot out of it, let the bald eagles scream, let the freedom ring, and not have to do maintenance or repairs or anything like this to make the car either better performance-wise or to keep it where it's at. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you guys, and we will see you in the next one.